everybody talking about this shit. I saw False ID talk about this shit. Pretty much my whole chat talking about this. Apparently, Nijisanji is attempting to really ruin their company stock before the end of 2024. They're really trying to go out with a bang before the end of 2024. You thought Nijisanji already f***ed up enough with the Doki Bird situation. They say, nah, we'll take that shit, we'll double it, we'll give it to the next person. Let's see what the f*** is going on. This looks like Any Color Inc. is in the f***ing dumps, losing over half of their market value. Let's see what's going on here.
Say it every time. At this point, it's a catchphrase, but Nijisanji, otherwise known as Any Color, their parent company, is truly the gift that keeps on giving. The downfall of this company ever since the beginning of this year has been unprecedented. It's hard to believe that back in June 2022, Any Color used to be worth $1.2 billion. Yes, you heard that right.
What?
Billion. 1.2 billion. And yes, we're talking about a VTuber corporation. It's crazy.
Dude,
but the
1.239 billion is almost as much as the Raiden Shogun banner rerun made. That's insane.
The company has since then lost more than half of their entire value.
Holy
And what's even worse for investors is that there is zero hope for recovery. The downfall of Nijisanji started in the beginning of 2024, back around February, when it turned out that one of their beloved talents tried to evaporate her soul out of her body, if you get what I mean.
This is Doki Bird.
Due to the very toxic work.
Yeah, there's another VTuber called Doki Bird. Was being received harassment by many other members in the company, and she attempted suicide. She pulled through, she streams, and she's doing great ever since. Don't worry about her, she's doing great.
Culture at Nijisanji. This was a very big shock because prior to this, Nijisanji was seen as one of the top VTubing agencies on the planet.
I'm gonna be real. I think all VTuber companies are f***ing trash. They treat their talent like f***ing shit. I think it's ridiculous. I think we're going to see a rise of a new VTuber agency probably in the next 2 to 3 years that actually treats their company or their characters with respect and doesn't hold their f***ing life in front of them. If you leave us, we'll take your soul with you. It's fucking ridiculous. These companies that don't let you bring your IP out of the company, it's ridiculous. Fuck them. These companies that take their sub revenue, that take their ad revenue, and they say, oh, well, we'll help you do an event every now and then. It is fucking bullshit. I hate VTubing companies. I'm going to just be real. That's why I fully support independent VTubers.
No one saw this coming. It didn't take long for us to see how toxic they were internally, though. Because instead of apologizing, Nijisanji put up some of their top VTubers to do a black screen.
Guys, I'm going to say this very specifically. When I say every VTuber company, I mean every VTuber company. I think they're all shit. There is none to be an exception. I think they're all bad. I think the majority of content orgs are bad. Now, that does not include OTK. I think OTK is great. However, I think any type of company that is taking revenue from creators is always a bad fucking thing. Always a bad thing.
Stream pretty much blaming the VTuber who almost lost their life and getting massive hate for it. This was truly the beginning of the end for Nijisanji. And
now, once again, I need to make this perfectly clear. I'm not saying the members of these organizations are bad. I'm saying the company structures that are taking care of VTubers are bad. That's what I believe. If you're in these orgs, I genuinely feel bad for you. That's my opinion. I think corporations are always a L. That's my opinion.
Screwed up so many times throughout this year that I had to create a playlist full of videos of them doing dumb shit. But even with all that.
And guys, I'm going to be real. I know things that you guys don't know. And I'm not going to talk about them. But I think all of them are bad. That's just my opinion.
We've never truly reached a point like the one we found ourselves in today. A VTuber currently working for Nijisanji decided to reach out to Falside in order to leak the fact that there's currently a predator within Nijisanji's ranks and that they are covering for him. There are many victims here, both inside and outside of Nijisanji, and the stakes have never been higher. We need to talk about this, so let's do it. But first, a quick sponsor. Ever wondered what would happen if we combined the amazing art style in League of Legends with an old school MMO game? Well,
you get Corp
anymore, because that's what Corp is all about.
Oh my god!
So Aster Arcadia is a male VTuber that's part of Nijisanji's English branch. Nijisanji will introduce new VTubers in waves, and Aster was part of the iLuna wave alongside 5 other VTubers. They debuted in summer 2022. Back in February of 2024, as the disaster surrounding Selen was happening, Raziel Warmonic, who used to be a moderator of Luca Kaneshiro, a massive Nijisanji English VTuber, put out a tweet saying not to add fuel to the fire, but since I was close to a member of Nijisanji for a long time, I am absolutely not surprised it's starting to crumble. I was vented to about a male member from iLuna, sorry I can't remember which, this was a voice convo from over a year ago, that was harassing and guilt-tripping new girls to the point that other members would go quiet or exclude them from their voice chats. Yet management apparently did nothing and the members themselves had to self-regulate. She then added, I just got confirmation from another individual. It was Aster. I will not name who told me this. No more witch hunts. There were 3 male members in Iluna, and she had confirmed that she was talking specifically about Aster. Nijisanji was already under a lot of fire. This was definitely fuel.
They're not under fire, they're in fire.
On 4chan, DMs between Aster and Scarla leaked. Scarla is another well-known VTuber, also part of the Iluna wave, debuting with Aster. This conversation was painful and awkward to read. Aster was—
Hey guys, here's a pro tip. To treat all private DMs as public, because eventually they'll come out if they're bad. Little bit of a tip.
Bickering about voice chat etiquette, and Scarla did not know how to respond except for saying sorry repeatedly. Saying, Aster, I'm sorry. I'm just overwhelmed by everything. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry I forget everything. I'm just overwhelmed by the messages. I don't know what to say to you. That's why I didn't respond right away. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't know what to say. I'm sorry. There was also another conversation in which she says, I'm sorry, Aster. I keep making you feel this way. With him replying, I mean, is that it? Like, what else do you want, man? She's apologizing. And then within the span of 30 minutes, he kept pushing over and over and over, not getting a reply, and saying, seriously, so you're purposefully ignoring me? It was clear that this DM leak was trying to make him look bad, right? Because all Scarla was doing was apologize, and he wasn't letting it go. It was certainly matching the description that Raziel had provided about Aster, guilt-tripping new girls and even harassing them. Knowing that this was 4chan, though, many people were concerned that these were just fake. I mean, who's gonna leak this? Scarla? That would be an easy way for her to get fired. And Aster? Why would he make himself look bad? But then something weird happened. On the same day those 4chan messages leaked, both Aster and Scarla posted matching hearts at the same exact timestamp.
Why?
Right after this, they proceeded to stream together, completely unprompted, right? Typically, they post weekly schedules telling their viewers what they're going to do on their channels.
What the fuck?
This was not announced. This had happened all of a sudden on the same day. This made some people suspicious. Like, why would you go this far to do all these things right after the messages leaked on 4chan? Are you trying to hide something? Did Nijisanji put you up to this to try and hide the fact that you guys have a terrible relationship?
That dislike ratio is crazy.
There was not enough proof to really conclude anything, so people moved on. That was, of course, until April 2024, when Raziel, who was Luca Kaneshiro's ex-mod, posted a 58-page document detailing her experience with him.
What the fuck? That's almost as long as Atsu's 62 fake suicide Google Doc. What the f—
And how he was entitled, exploitative, and abusive towards her, as well as other members within Nijisanji. This is where, on page 55, she would include this bombshell under allegations. Here's what she had to say. Aster Arcadia harassing other coworkers. I can confirm that Luca Kaneshiro said that multiple girls were coming to him about the issue since management wouldn't do anything, and he discussed it with both Alira and I. Alira being Alira Pandora, another Nijisanji English VTuber. She then continues. I personally told him to gather as much evidence as possible and bring it to management since it shouldn't be Luca's and Alira's job, to regulate this issue. To my understanding, nothing was done about it. She also showed a message that was sent to her by a Nijisanji English VTuber saying, to help you with clarity, I remember that incident, it was Aster. This was back during February 7th, when Raziel had tweeted about the fact that someone from Iluna was harassing and guilt-tripping new girls. When she said, I just got confirmation from another individual that it was Aster.
Luca's situation happened a while ago? I'm surprised you didn't know about it. Wait, was there an issue with Luca? I've never seen anything bad about Luca whatsoever, and I've only had good experiences with the guy. Yes, Luca was really bad? And these were proven, or were these allegations? By the way, Luca's situation was crazy too. Do you not know about the Luca situation? Luca exposed as a huge asshole. Bro was gooning live. Mugen has a video on it too. It was proven?
It seems that this—
What the fuck? Okay, I don't know how I've never seen that, never heard of it. That is wild. Holy shit. I'll have to see what that's about later.
She was referring to that VTuber who had DM'd her on Twitter. This, of course—
How was it proven? Just people saying, trust me, bro? Yeah, that's why I'm saying I have to look more into it.
Of course, was a very serious accusation, but people were mostly focused on Luca Kaneshiro being a weirdo in these 58 pages rather than really pursuing this, because other than this random Twitter DM, we didn't really have concrete proof. And besides, people were more interested with how Luca beat his meat in VR chat without Raziel's consent anyway. I mean, the shock value from that alone was crazy.
Yeah, I do agree that Luca was definitely, a VR chat dude. Yeah, I know that for sure. And I do think some really weird shit happens in VR chat that most normies, who don't get the culture, wouldn't understand. But I'll be real, going into VR chat, it's essentially a free-for-all goon fiesta. It really is. The shit that goes on in there, I don't even know how the fuck it's legal. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. But, I mean, people do this shit like it's the norm in there. That's what's nuts. I mean, as a survivor of the VR chat apocalypse, I've seen and experienced the worst of it. So that does not surprise me.
It made people slowly forget about the Aster allegations. However, that all changed just a few days ago on December 6th, 2024. That was the day that Falside had published this video titled Exclusive. Nijisanji English VTuber speaks out against Nijisanji English Liver. He had done something unprecedented. A Nijisanji VTuber had reached out to him from within the company to tell him that yes, Aster Arcadia is a serial harasser. This was the same Nijisanji English VTuber who had messaged Raziel and told her, I remember that incident, it was Aster.
Hey, yo, my video's on there. The Genshin Impact Civil War has begun. Look at that. Dude, Mugen is subscribed to me. So if you're here, you should subscribe to me too.
Also sharing some never-before-seen DMs she had sent Raziel. Like, a lot of people waited for you to tell the truth for a while because it had been an issue, so I'm happy you finally did. Do not worry about those that are sending hate. This truth in the long run will help so many people.
True.
He then shared messages of that Nijisanji English VTuber venting back in September about Aster's behavior, saying, when I had a mental breakdown and went to Twitch, it was because Aster was saying like he wants to fly me out to Japan, saying weird sexual shit. Sex pesting my friends. I went to management. They wouldn't even speak to him. I was really considering graduating. They were really considering leaving the company over this. But their manager talked them out of it. They then said, because it feels gross to me, like I feel like I'm hiding his behavior because it's not just me, it's many, many girls.
What
a
the
lot
fuck?
Of my friends. Also adding that Nijisanji was too scared to take any action because they didn't want more bad PR after everything that had happened this year. The name of this Nijisanji VTuber, who is a victim of Aster Arcadia, wasn't revealed in this video. Now obviously there were people doubting the source of information, saying why would you want to censor the name? Revealing it would add so much more weight to these accusations.
True.
But in order to understand that, we have to, yet again, go back to 4chan. A little while ago, a bunch of different messages leaked on 4chan between that one Nijisanji English VTuber.
I'm definitely very familiar with like organizations trying to hide the actions of certain members, because the problem is when certain members do bad things, their entire org will get fucked for those things. But it's so fucking shady and it's so fucking scummy when these people do this shit. They say, hide this atrocity because it'll make us look bad. It's so fucking scummy. It's happened so many fucking times.
Who had reached out to Falside and a handful of their friends. Some of these messages were from that VTuber stream chat, but the majority were from Discord DMs. There were some morbid revelations, like how this VTuber was straight up in debt because Nijisanji had withdrawn all the VTuber model costs and the equipment costs from their salary. So after a long time being there, they still have not gotten a proper salary, barely affording to eat. Truly an incredible company to work at. But what these logs allow us to do is to cross-reference the messages.
I don't get why VTubers just don't go independent. Like literally, here's what every VTuber should do. Join an org for a year or two, get the clout, and then leave. Be your own fucking VTuber, and don't let them take any more of your fucking revenue. You already got the exposure. The longer you stay in an org, the diminishing returns happen on how much of a boost you're gonna get. So just have some fucking respect and just leave these fucking orgs. VTuber orgs. Some people don't want that stressful life, but it's not. It's great being independent.
Shown in false.
You can't? Yes, you fucking can. Just graduate, show off your new model, call it a day.
Falside's video to the messages here. For example, if we take the message he wants to fly me out to Japan, we find it right here following the same timestamp that was shown in the Discord logs in Falside's video. I have no idea.
What is Mythic Talent? Is it a VTuber org? No, Mythic Talent is just an ad agency. They just bring ads to whoever wants them. They're not a VTubing agency.
Leak this. But these logs paint a very dark picture about the worries this VTuber had of even revealing this information to the public. Look, the topic of Aster came up multiple times in these conversations, and at some point, one of the friends of this Nijisanji English VTuber wanted them to expose the harassment that they had endured from Aster to the public. They expressed shock when the VTuber was reluctant, saying,
what does it do? Okay, so what Mythic Talent does, it's very simple. They're one of the best ad agencies, if not the best ad agency on the entire platform. And this is why. So they'll take a small percentage of what they deliver to you. So let's say you make $1,000 for an ad, they'll take like 100, right? This is boilerplate for every single ad agency across the entire fucking industry. But what they do is they will bring you the ads that you want to do versus just random slops. So you can pretty much customize the ads that you want to deliver to your community. The reason why Mythic Talent is so good is because they're creator first, not company first. So other agencies are company first, then talent. What that means is if the company's going to fuck you, they're going to side with the company. Whereas Mythic Talent, if a company tries to fuck you, they're going to side with the creator, right? So if a company decides to not pay you, then Mythic Talent will pay you what they owe you and just take it as a loss. That's pretty much unheard of. Mythic Talent is incredible. They all work very hard. There are some very good ad agencies out there. I also really like, I think Loaded is one of the good ones. But if you want like to really understand what you're putting in front of your community and work with people who actually give a fuck about you, Mythic Talent is fucking great.
I thought they don't fucking fire people? Like, I was under the impression it literally can't happen. With the Nijisanji VTuber then saying, if you do something
Is
bad,
United Talent good?
the
I haven't
friend
heard of
said,
him.
but you are unironically a victim. Fuck them. You did nothing wrong at all. Why are we even scared? They treat you like shit. Some creep harasses you. You get fired? Question mark? Make that make sense. With the VTuber saying, that's why it's 50-50. They either ignore it or fire me. So this Nijisanji English VTuber actually loves being a VTuber and they don't want to get fired. They had to quit their IRL job for this and they don't have anything else they can do at the moment. If Falside had irresponsibly leaked their name, their identity, then Nijisanji would have terminated them, well, immediately, and Aster would have gotten away with it anyway.
That's
it's
horrific.
Counterproductive. And this is why I won't leak it either. So look, even with the VTuber wanting to keep their job,
I'll leak it.
the friends of the VTuber were seeing this injustice unfold and they couldn't just not do anything about it. They wanted the Nijisanji VTuber, their friend, to get their justice. This is why they reached out to Falside. Here we can see a conversation with one of the VTuber's friends and Falside. This was Falside's first
Dude, love Falside. Think they're a great guy. They waffle way too much. Get to the point in these videos, man. I swear to God. I swear to it actually is like CNN News. They waffle, they waffle, they waffle. And I was like, dude, just fucking tell me. I'm losing my mind.
contact with this group of people. They agreed on a time to call and then went ahead and did it. During the call, the VTuber's friend showed him all the screenshots of the past logs we just saw. Of
Maybe
them
that's
talking
by
about
design.
Aster and the harassment they had to endure for a very long time. The call lasted 1 hour. On November 11th, the Nijisanji English VTuber who was harassed by Aster had reached out to Falside and added them on Discord saying, "Hey, thanks for accepting my request. Blank told me he sent you some things and I was wondering if you'd be able to have a call with me." This is referring to the friend of the VTuber that Falside had called for an hour. And Falside replied with, "Sure, not a problem. What time works for you?" This was when the VTuber would reveal to Falside that Aster had done this not to just them, but to their friends, to multiple people. The VTuber initially thought that maybe he was just bad at communicating, but seeing the fact that he was doing it to so many people at the same time made them understand, okay, no, this guy's actually a creep. And he would
What the
vary his
fuck?
creepiness level from person to person. With some people, he would tell them, "Oh man, you should really come to Japan. We could hold hands, sit in the same hotel room, have a great time." And to some others, he would be more inappropriate.
Why can't people just take their fucking sex drive in their own hands and just masturbate? Why do people gotta go after real people for sex when anime women are right there and you can just jerk off? Why you gotta do all this weird shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, guilting people for sex, that shit's pathetic, brother. Why are we resorting to these drag levels of just Neanderthal tactics of maybe if I guilt them so hard, then maybe I'll get sex? It's just pathetic, brother.
Mentioning things like how they should be naked together.
Just good.
Additionally, this VTuber had felt really guilty because they had brought one of their IRL friends from outside of Nijisanji to come and play games with them, plus some other friends, and Aster. After a certain period of time, that friend would then also receive inappropriate messages from Aster. The
Oh
guy
my
was
God.
an unapologetic fiend. The VTuber also had shared DMs with Aster. They had streamed League of Legends together, and Aster really didn't like the banter that the VTuber had towards his jungling skills. The reason
Oh
why
my
this is
God.
significant is that due to the style of writing of this message, we can draw a parallel to the style of writing in these messages between Aster and Scarlet. This is simply how he talked. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to slowly come together at this point. Aster was manipulative, and he had many different victims to practice his manipulation tactics.
So he gets you to joke with him, then he'll guilt you for joking with him, and then he'll try to elicit sex from you. That is psychotic.
On. The information provided was already enough
That
to
is
shock
such
the
a
VTuber
bad
community
look.
to its core. But as you might have guessed, things only got worse from here.
Bruh, just block him. So here's the issue. When you're in the same org as someone, it's very hard to just block them and it not become like org-wide like deal at that point. So for these people, just blocking them wouldn't really work because you're in a similar work environment where you can't like get away from that person. You know what I'm saying? And then if you block someone and then you're forced to interact later, it gets really weird. And then when you tell management you don't want to interact with this person, it's going to be really fucking weird, right? So it's a really messy, unavoidable situation. And I think the real solution to this would be get people who aren't fucking creeps.
Here and escalated further. Aster had debuted alongside two other male VTubers in the iLuna wave. One of those VTubers was Kyo. The thing with Kyo was that he had graduated around the time the Selen controversy was going on. He was done with the company and left in February of 2024 after his final stream. In March, he went independent and became Quinn Bennett and has
Didn't
been
know that.
streaming ever since. However, shortly after debuting at Nijisanji, he had created a podcast series with Aster and another VTuber by the name of Ren. The series was short-lived, ending after 2 episodes, but people didn't really think much of it, assuming they were just busy and moved on. However, that all changed recently, because very shortly after Falside's video, Quinn tweeted this, saying, "All I'm saying
Oh,
is there's a
man!
reason the podcast only lasted 2 episodes. To many,
Oh,
this was a
man!
subtweet directed towards Aster. He was blaming Aster for the fact that the podcast ended so quickly. As you can imagine, this was a lot of fuel added to
What
the fire.
the
Quinn then
fuck?
proceeded to add even more fuel by deleting the tweet, making people want to talk about it even more, thinking that he may have gotten in trouble with Nijisanji over this tweet. But then he made another tweet saying this: "Never mind. I feel it's irresponsible to be vague given the circumstances, and to be honest, I want to stay in my own lane. Even if I personally dislike someone, that doesn't give or remove credibility from a third-party story. My opinion wasn't meant to validate someone else's experience, which is why I deleted the post. Hope that clears everything up." But by then, the damage was already done. Quinn knew he can just move on from it, so he tweeted out clearing things up, linking a Twitch stream.
Oh my god, bro! Oh, bro came in for a gank that was done by accident. Oh shit, were you gonna play Fortnite with Quinn right now? Yeah, no, I'm down. I think Kyo's great.
The stream was around 27 minutes long, and it was him talking about the situation at length. What he had to say did not in any way make Aster look good. Watch.
To hide this aspect of the puzzle piece. I really don't want to talk about this because if I don't talk about it, I'm seen as protecting a predator. If I do, I'm seen as being messy. So
Holy shit, protecting a predator? Jesus
to
Christ!
be honest, I'm going to be as vague as possible. But another reason I didn't like this person is because there were some stories going around and some things I saw where they behaved weird towards women. Okay? Nothing criminal, nothing to the extent of what has recently come out. But I didn't like how they seemed kind of like they would like nag certain women about certain things or kind of put them in positions to feel guilty, or pounce on like newer members that were in the company and that didn't know about this behavior. Like they were not the most healthy when they interacted with women.
That sounds so fucking bad. And people who take advantage of positions of power, that's so fucking bad.
And I'm going to be honest about that. I'm not going to cover it up.
This was interesting because the wording he was using here, guilt tripping, for example, was the exact same wording that was used by Raziel when she spoke about Aster. This was lining up, but Quinn didn't end it here. Obviously, he had way more to say.
Are the interactions between women allegations? I witnessed some of them myself. Okay, I witnessed some of them myself. Some of them happened to some of my friends. But I'm not going to say who, and I'm not going to say what. I'm just saying I didn't like it. I didn't like it, so I didn't like this person. Okay, now this is bringing me back to my original point. Should you guys even know any of this shit from me? Should I be the one telling you this? Fuck no. Okay.
Well, there you have it. Quinn had seen this behavior happen to some of his female friends. But again, this was not everything he had to say. It got worse.
Since everyone is making me feel guilty for maybe covering up abuse or whatever, I will say in my personal, very biased opinion, okay? Take this with like 800 milligrams of sodium, enough for you to like die from sodium overdose. This, unfortunately, based off of what I have seen, does not seem like something that is completely out of character of behavior for this person to potentially do.
Jesus
but I
Christ.
could see a universe where this happens, okay? Is my point. It's not like I would never, ever see this happening. That's not how I feel, okay? I'm going to be honest with you, all right?
Now, it's really interesting seeing this chat, right? Because obviously he still has a lot of viewers that came from Nijisanji, and many of them are not happy about the fact that he's speaking out about this.
Absolutely.
Quinn, actually, don't say that. Bro, you're saying too much. Question mark. Dude, just stop. Seriously. We have this massive allegation going on. He has a perspective that we're lacking right now. Someone who has worked with him directly, who's seen him interact with his friends in a weird, creepy way.
Now, okay, so here's the thing. I think that people talking about allegations is always a bad thing when they're completely uninformed and just speaking with their bias. However, I think when people have first-hand experience, like let's say people lived with them, I'm probably going to want to hear what their roommates think on the ordeal rather than some randoms on the fucking internet. And these were people who were like very close friends. So like if, let's say there was two people in a relationship and one of them said it's fucking bad, one of them said it's fucking good, and then the roommate comes out and says, nah, the relationship was great, I witnessed the entire fucking thing, well, I'm probably gonna believe their roommate, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like randoms shouldn't fucking weigh in who have like political agendas and are like, oh, I don't like this person, so I'm gonna fuck him over because that benefits me analytically. But if there's like family members or like roommates who have seen it, well then sure, I'll hear them out.
And they're asking him to shut up. It's crazy. His last statement here is actually massive. You see, if I knew someone and they were being accused of something, and I knew for a fact, nah, they're a good person, they would never do that, I would back them up and I'd say, listen, as far as I know, they had never done this.
Maybe not family members, you're right, they can be biased, but like someone who lived with them through the entirety of it, like really first-hand witnesses, people who were there from the start to the finish.
Around me, and I just don't see them doing it. But Quinn had a completely different thing to say, saying, listen guys, I just don't see it as impossible. Like, this kind of aligns with the person I knew. And at this point, with every single instance involving Aster over the last year, Nijisanji can't keep shielding him anymore. We need accountability. One thing that no one was expecting, including myself, is the fact that Nijisanji put out a statement fairly quickly about this, saying, thank you for your continued support of Nijisanji and Nijisanji EN. Regarding the recent controversy, AnyColor has determined the following course of action. We have initiated an independent third-party investigation into these issues and will share the outcome with our livers and our community. This investigation will focus on the issues of sexual harassment and unauthorized information leakage to outside parties and will include a thorough review of company policies and their implementation. Based on the outcome of this investigation, appropriate disciplinary actions will be taken and updated policies will be shared with our livers and our community. AnyColor is committed to a safe and community-focused environment free from any type of inappropriate behavior. For all inquiries related to this matter, please contact AnyColor Inc. Now, typically when a corporation says a third-party investigation will take place, it doesn't really mean much. If you guys remember, that's what Mr. Beast did with his own company and found himself not guilty. Great. And what worries me here is that
I think people shit on third-party investigators far too much. And at that point, it's like, well, what do you do? What can you trust? What can you do to exonerate yourself? If you don't allow investigators or the law to prevent you and rid you of wrongdoing when you were found innocent, well, then what really can you do? Because at that point, allegations become life-ruining, right? You put out allegations, someone's career is ruined, they will never be able to bounce back because there's no way to exonerate yourself. You have to give people an out. You have to give people a way for justice to be served and for your innocence to be proven, because if you fucking don't, well, then people are for life. Now, I think what they just need to do is allow people to understand who these third-party investigators are, prove or at least demonstrate that they don't really have anything to gain by giving one answer or the other answer, and at that point, let justice be justice. Because otherwise, there is no way to prove anybody innocent. And I'll be real, false allegations do fly around a lot on the internet.
That not only will they focus on issues of sexual harassment, but they'll also focus on unauthorized information leakage to outside parties, which tells me they're probably going to focus on the VTuber who leaked this information rather than Aster Arcadia. We'll see what happens, I guess, but I'm not very optimistic.
We'll see. We'll see. I think that they're going to look for both, because obviously data leaks are also very serious and to be taken seriously. Obviously not as serious as sexual harassment or alleged sexual harassment, but I think both need to be looked into 100%.
I can guarantee you, though, that behind the scenes right now, it is an absolute mess at Nijisanji. After Falside's video had released, Aster immediately set his chat on his channel to subscribers only mode. You need to have been subscribed for at least 24 hours before you can even send messages. He then posted this in his stream chat saying, I will have to postpone the cooking stream. Sorry, missing some stuff and setup is complicated. Thanks for your understanding. It's currently been delayed by around a week. So he's very well aware of it. Nijisanji has told us that they are aware of this too now.
So this person's saying, nothing says I'm innocent like skipping town. So the problem is that here's the reason why people skip and they leave Twitter whenever allegations come out. Because if they don't, then every single time they post, every time they upload, every time they go live, before an answer is given, people are going to be like, oh, fuck them, unfollow, unsubscribe, block, do not disturb. They want to be forgotten about. That's why they run away. It is a solid career move. Now, that usually is the best course of action. You get accused of some bullshit, you dip until you can exonerate yourself. But not everybody can do that, and also not everybody wants to do that, especially when people know that they're innocent. Like if somebody's accused of bullshit and they still go live every single fucking day and they talk and they do their fucking job, well, it's probably because they're fucking passionate and they're willing to lose the analytics to continue doing what they love. There's no real right answer with 100% accuracy of what you can do. However, the internet dogpiling on this behavior and pretty much giving, okay, so let's just make sure this is, okay, I'm gonna explain to you how it's a lose-lose situation the moment any accusation or allegations come out. If you go live, you're gonna be accused of just streaming through it and trying to ignore your issues. If you leave, oh, you're running away. If you don't address the allegations, oh, you're hiding it. He has a reason for hiding it. If you address it, you're gonna be called a liar and you're gonna be said, you need proof, when in reality, proof lies on the burden of the accuser, not the accused. And then you get an investigator to see what's going on. And then they'll say, yeah, he researched himself and found no wrongdoing. It's a lose, 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 lose situation. The only thing that I would ever suggest to the internet is for situations like these, where people do come out with these accusations, if they're ever proven to be untrue. Like, let's say Aster is a victim, right? And Aster gets completely fucked. I'm not saying he is, but let's say hypothetically he is. Let's make sure that the person who lied about all this receives just as a severe punishment as the false allegations were causing him. And that's the real thing that the internet needs to focus on. This is what happens. Somebody gets false allegations. Their career gets blown up. It does. It gets blown the fuck up. It's later proved to be untrue. Nobody cares. Damage is done. Your career's fucked. Over nothing, right? So when these people come out with false allegations, false accusations, they need to be punished severely. They do. But as far as this situation goes, I'm going to do, or what I always do is I'm going to wait for more information and a definitive answer to come out. Try very hard not to speculate here.
What happens remains to be seen, but there's clear favoritism in Nijisanji. We know this by now, so I'm not very optimistic, but hey, I just hope that the people he harassed can get their peace. If something else happens, I will keep you updated though. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I really appreciate it. See you in the next video. Mwah.
Very good video, Mujin. If you guys want to go like, comment, subscribe this, definitely do that. I am going to wait until I get to hear more. This is a very, very, very messy situation, and I hope that justice is brought to those who need it and things get cleared up.